Hi, Sandra here from Create in Spain, and today I want to do a technique for you that is new to me and maybe new to you as well, but it's really handy to know how to do this. Now, I have to give credit where it's due, and the idea for this came to me by watching a video from Heidi Swapp, the creator of the Mink machines. And she uses products that she makes to do this. I don't have any of her machines or any of her products, and I was looking for a way to do this at home without buying those sorts of things because I want to do my own designs and not someone else's. Okay, so you're going to need for this some sticky back plastic, reusable sticky back plastic, which is for covering books, or transfer tape, or alternatively something like post-it note paper. I get these in boxes of 3 in Carrefour, and you can use that as well. So you want something of that nature. You want some voile. Now this I bought in the Chinese shop, and it's a polyester voile. It's got a lovely shimmer to it. It's used primarily for decorating at Christmas or for decorating the table, things like that. But I looked at it and thought this would be absolutely brilliant for the purpose I have in mind, and it was cheap. It was on an 18-inch roll, which was 4.5 meters, I think, and it cost me €3, so that was inexpensive. Some scrap card to play around on to perfect your technique, and some vinyl. Now, I've got a good quality vinyl here, and it's got a very good adhesive on the back. Now, not all vinyls do, and if you don't have one with a good adhesive on the back, you can use a cheapy vinyl, but you'll probably only be able to use this once. It won't be reusable. Now, all I've done here is I have cut out my sentiment with my silver bullet, and I have weeded it. And what we're going to attempt to do is basically some screen printing on card. Now you might think, why would you want to screen print something like this? Now if I just wanted to put vinyl on the card, then it wouldn't be a problem. But if I wanted to do this hello design, and you notice it is reversed, if I want to do this hello design as a stencil, I couldn't easily do it without altering the text, because the inner bits of the E and the O would be free floating and they would be lost unless I modified the text to put a bridge in. And sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you want a fancy script, for example, and you don't want these gaps that you have to have with a stencil. And this is where the screen print version comes in. Now, I want to use texture paste, and I would recommend that that is what you use for this technique because it makes it so much easier to get a really good, clean result. You can use a white one like I've got here, but they also come in various colours. You can get metallic ones, or you can in fact tint it with an acrylic paint or a dye of your choice. It's entirely up to you. Now, I mentioned that I have my image reversed. Because it is text, it has to be reversed for this particular technique. So what I'm going to do now is put my card to one side. I'm just going to take my sticky back plastic and lay it over. Now this is a technique that most, piece of something stuck on there, it's on the top so it won't matter, most vinyl users are perfectly aware of. So you put it down on the top of your vinyl and you brayer it down, you can roll it down, you can use a bone folder, whatever. Doesn't matter, as long as it's well pressed. Okay. And then you turn it over and you remove the backing paper. That's if you can find the edge to remove it, of course. So, come on. There we go. I'm going to hold that down and hopefully everything will be stuck onto my plastic. There we are. Now at this point, this is where you would normally be sticking it down onto your object, only you wouldn't have reversed it if you were just going to do a vinyl trace. But this is where my voile comes in. I'm just going to cut a little piece off of here because I don't need the full size. And you want to place your voile on the sticky part of your vinyl. And again, use cards like this. You can use a brayer. You can use whatever tool you like to make sure it is well adhered to your voile. And then you take that and you pull off your plastic transfer tape, whatever it is that you were using. And you can put that to one side to use again if it's one of the reusable ones. Now what you need to do is turn this over so it is the correct side up and you can read whatever writing that you've done. Take your card and you can either use some washi tape to stick it down, or you could, if you're able to, if you have some, use a temporary spray adhesive just to spray on the other side to stick it down. Now the reason I've chosen tape rather than the temporary spray adhesive is because if I want to reuse this, I want to make very sure that those little bits in the centre, the O and the E, don't get stuck to my project. That is the whole reason for putting this voile on it in the first place. I want to be able to lift it off in one go. Because what happens when you do a stencil sometimes is that you either wait for the paint to dry, and when you peel it up, some of your paint peels away. Or if you're trying to do it while it's wet, you remove a lot of the vinyl and then you go to do those centre bits of the letters and you damage the rest of it. Yeah, been there, done that multitude of times and thrown a lot of work out in the process. I'm just going to use a palette knife for this, and I've just got some plain cheapy white texture paste, and I'm just going to scrape it over. Now I'm not pressing on this. If I was spreading butter on a piece of bread, I would use more pressure than this. I'm literally just wiping it over until I can see that those gaps are filled. Because I've put my tube of paste into a jar, I can put the rest of it back in. Try and make sure you don't get it around the rim of the jar if you do that, mind you, because sometimes you can't get the jar open. Okay, and now, if I remove the tape, I can lift up the entire design all in one go. And apart from the fact that I got it outside my design, I hope you can see that that has given an absolutely perfect sentiment. Nothing is wrong with that at all. That is clean, clear and very precise. Now you may be wondering why I bothered to reverse the design and put the fabric on the top of the vinyl. And the reason for that is I've done some experimentation and I found that it gives a cleaner result that way round than it does if it is that way round. And that's all there is to it. It's a better result. Now if you want to reuse this, you can take a cloth and you can clean it up. As long as you haven't got any bits left in the fabric, you'll be able to reuse it. And doing it this way does mean that it's more inclined to stick, and you're more inclined to keep the pieces that you want inside than you are to lose them. If you do have a problem because your vinyl isn't sticky enough for these pieces to stay on the fabric, the only thing that I can advise is to make your screen print, gizmo, whatever you like to call it, in advance, and to put a little dot of a liquid glue that will coat with fabric on the bits that you want to maintain. Make sure it's flat because you don't want any bumps on it. So don't put very much on, but then just leave it to dry so that that will not come off. And then you have a reusable screen print. But sometimes you just want to do one screen print for a particular project, and that would certainly be the way of doing it. And if it's an unusual sentiment, you probably wouldn't be able to find a screen print already made. So there we go. That's how to do a fake screen print. Thanks very much for watching. Take care now. Bye.